At the age of 14, my uncle then start force me say I'm married. So as I be denying now, I say I don't want go to school. They say get pikin no dey go school.
They move, we never get pikin, they grow fine, they go school fine. So that before one give the pikin for marriage, at least you know say they be productive.
If for me say go put me for work, he just as I just get I just dey obele na so. He just start to beat me. He beat me for my corner belle so. As I be come the belle I be the bill belle he be na for 1 month. The belle be comot now.
In fact, the people have helped us. People have helped us because of the various workshops that people have been organizing.
Now they force me say I married some boy, some man. They say if you are not agree, they wish me for some kind sick now. I the come out from my papa house. They also drive me go for that my house.
We, the men of MENCHUM division, hereby take a commitment to fight against gender-based violence and sexual exploitation and abuse for the well-being of our community, division, and region.
There is an English adage which states that if you educate a woman, you are educating a whole nation. Women are the first community teachers, especially from our families, which form the basic unit of the society. No full development of any society can be successful when women are excluded from participating actively. This is so because both women and men are partners in the development drive.
Talking about the project, I think it's a godsend because a lot of these, when you look at the community, a lot of these girls, they go wayward because they do not have orientators, people that can orientate them and tell them about life. Tell them that life is not all about you sitting and being dependent on a man. You can actually work for yourself and bring out the worth and potentials that are hidden inside of you.
Say united we stand, divided we fall. I would already stand for this meeting, so we got Bilam, he go stand even tomorrow. Sir.
After working in these communities for close to 5 years, we realized a lot of gender gaps, including gender-based violence, sexual abuse, especially amongst young girls, economic deprivation, harmful cultural practices, actually keeping these women behind.
And there are 153 boys, the rest are girls, meaning that according to demographic statistics, girls are supposed to be more. Exactly. Meaning that the girls in these areas are not favored as far as education is concerned. Please, if you extend your services to some of these villages, you may be of help to us, especially the Fulanis, where at the age of 10, a child can be pushed to marry. In GSSOPA, we have earmarked 21 students that have been impregnated and delivered children during this crisis. And most of them are not above 16 years. So please, your services are very much needed in areas like us. I'm the chief in that area, and in fact, I've been there for 20 years. And then I think that if you extend our services, your services to that area, we shall be rescued a bit, because it is a population, it is a tribe that we talk to and they don't even listen. But they have beginning to have examples, because some girls have been pushed to study and given jobs so that we can encourage them.
MENCHUM division is one of the 7 divisions that make up the northwest region of Cameroon. Its people practice agriculture and cattle herding as main activities that generate income for their livelihoods. Wum is the capital city of MENCHUM division, while Benakuma and Bihaph are also sub-divisional headquarters. These 3 communities, that is Wum, Bihaph and Benakuma, are currently experiencing an upsurge of sexual exploitation and abuse and gender-based violence. This is so because of certain obnoxious traditional practices in these areas, and of recent, the fallout of the socio-political crisis that has generated to a full-scale armed conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon.
They are not taking nothing in the house. As he died, try all the die. I go back for my papa come. Later on, the elder brother come. He say one can take me, he can inherit me because I've been like brother.
Then even if I force he say me marry because she don't have inside grass house. And so I don't go marry now, so the boy just abandon you the pikin.
You married for which age?
Yes, my bonara kwanga.
12 years. Your mommy say me marry because you know still get your power again to take care of you because your power don't go down. If the first way see the 13 years. If you carry better, the person beat you to take miscarriage. Then the first and say me married, he still go married again. That one he beating her every day. In the evening Sunday, he beat you so. Put her inside house, lock house, light fire.
Before we went into this community, we realized that there were different forms of gender-based violence were very, very rife, ranging from early marriages, forced marriages, economic deprivation, emotional and psychological violence, rape, physical violence, assault. And my main role in this project as M&E officer was to monitor on a daily basis the different activities that were planned in the partnership with Unhcr, our main funding partner. And in the course of this project, we realized that the people were so ignorant about gender-based violence that the team and a lot of external facilitators had to come in to assist in training. So there was a lot of training that was organized at the level of each community. The different groups were trained, like traditional councils were trained, social groups were trained, cultural groups were trained on GBV related issues.
Papa them again with the beg with them. When I find time, we brother we now with security for you go help we go make plan. We go can see you now. We train some of some we are picking them already for market. They for market here we train them for tailoring. We train some of them tailoring. One more. One for talk, once more of them come and now get them. We train most now get them.
Market now so as chowe you big salute. As salute my Muslim brother them, my Muslim sister them. As una know, you want a macro program on strengthening community response against gender-based violence and prevention of sexual exploitation and abuse for inside MENCHUM division. So if you don't just join we, you listen to Womb Community Radio and the program on air now a macro program. It be sponsored by United Nations High Commissioner for Refugee in partnership with our own very NGO Bindumlem Humanitarian Association of Peace and Hope.
The situation has further been compounded by the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, which inevitably forced youth out of school, especially the girl child. According to United Nations Women, facts published in 2018 estimated that 35% of women worldwide have experienced either physical or sexual intimate partner violence or sexual violence by a known partner at some point in their lives. MENCHUM division, like most African communities, puts little effort in empowering the girl child as compared to male children. Most often, boys are given the opportunity for formal education in schools, whereas the girl child often assists in family chores, which according to some traditions adequately prepares her for marriage. This justifies the high rates of GBV in womb and its environs, leading to high rates of sexual exploitation, teenage pregnancies, early marriages, to name a few. Identifying these as problems retarding the holistic development of MENCHUM division as a whole and womb bereavement and Benakuma in particular, Bindulum Humanitarian Association of Peace and Hope, Bihaph, a charity operating in the northwest region of Cameroon in the following domains of peace building, conflict prevention transformation, gender equality promotion, promotion of education, child protection and sustainable livelihood, is carrying out a project to stop gender-based violence in these areas. Bihaph, with funds secured from the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, Unhcr in Cameroon, is carrying out the project titled Strengthening Community Response Against Gender-Based Violence and Prevention of Sexual Exploitation and Abuse in Womb, Bafmen and Benakuma.
Objectively, what we wanted to achieve in this project primarily was to educate the communities on the dangers and the ills of gender-based violence, sexual exploitation and abuse, given the frequent and rampant happening and the impact it was having in these communities. And also, we wanted to build the capacities of the victims and the survivors, those who have experienced gender-based violence, so that they in turn can become the voices to combat gender-based violence in this community.
6 key activities will help in the project outcomes, like community sensitizations with key stakeholders on gender-based violence and related themes, strengthening the capacities of community-based organizations and structures in the fight against sexual exploitation, abuse, and gender-based violence.
Another aspect for gender-based violence, women too do gender-based violence for man, women too do am. But we don't pay to for Zawa because we can for Zawa. When women talk for a master, and talk shoe, you do shoes or women shoes and Zetanga. Why so contonia for your for Zawa being bank for Zawa? Would the years what the talk now? Yes.
If you see gender-based violence being practiced anywhere, talk out, shout out to the top of your voice. No hide down. Because the greatest problem the world face, especially for this community, for the past 2 months, we don't realize and say gender-based violence, they need to be reported. It will actually be underreported. Underreported means I say it will happen, but any man is here, only prefer to stay quiet. For talks to let sleeping dogs lie. Yeah, if I go report this thing so, especially now.
Now just a plenty of we live in ignorance. We don't know. We don't know which way a law we talk about. Because if we know, we will be able to fight how law will punish you. Wait till it will happen for you. If you can report Papa say, Papa don't commit 17 cents with you. Marriage. Our penal code is the punish forced marriage. And forced marriage, it been one of the gender-based violence, the way it will be perpetrated.
One people be 12 years old, you don't see red blood for you last, you will start for Christ, you know, will take order again.
If this thing they don't display for inside our community, if gender-based violence don't remain inside our society today, now because it only happen for we the face an abomination for talker. When we reach for them, I time that too for open our mob do it. Talk the kind, see them. So that it will help our family. It will help our beginning tomorrow.
You know, go like them. If it cause harm, they say that what I want to say is psychological abuse. Where you constantly coach the person, make the person feel like the person will be worthy. It is deprive you of the necessity things of life. But where the money there?
We can not say it. We will make one
marriage certificate.
One woman. Then we can work then a woman so I got to suffer. If I have where the sister here.
They here. We even crash them, we don't call them talk to go. Plenty of them. Think we did it no mommy. Yeah. We talk so we learn from people their mistakes. Yeah. We learn from people their sense, the way they don't get them.
You violate the rights because person need for marriage time where you want married and you're not supposed to choose master or woman for person. And we also talk say wait if Pekin they were reach 18 years old, girl Pekin and boy Pekin when over reach 21 years old, he want go married. papa and mommy get right for deny, that one our lawyer will talk more on that one. Because say the pikin still be na minor, where he still be under papa care, he still be under mommy care.
That kind of person, if he gets psychological effect, where he resort to frustration.
Yes, Mama, thank you plenty. I want you to take note for all these things them, because I think the way it live amongst we, think the way we experience are every day.
Rape is simply when you sleep with person, man not talk to woman. You sleep with person way in no one time. Now rape that so.
Like humanitarian principles. First, we get the principle of humanity. Be as humane as possible.
For yeah, now God can make the law then. Now we make law then, which means say without law then the hell we still come together and then do it and change our law then.
Where some women may say, you will not eat in this house for 2 days because you have not done this. Some refuse that. You will sleep like that. You turn your back to your husband because you think that you will sleep in cold.
First permit me, make I thank immensely the director for Bihaph for inviting me and my entourage to witness this training capacity seminar focused on gender-based violence and sexual exploitation. Very much for camp, for our perseverance, and I hope say when they go back, we'll go back home, we don't learn a lot.
If we say when it comes up, how you say with power, give belly wrong go no man not go do anything. But today we don't learn. They don't teach we. Say if you do such thing, you get punishment by law. If you do the same thing to a man, the same law to go.
You know, say all we begin, Papa, Mommy, fight for avoid violence by speaking the truth. I'm very, very happy for the organizers for this seminar. The first place I say the time will be very, very okay. Despite the rough roads. So the time will very much and say we will begin to come plenty time to come in the same.
Economic empowerment of gender-based violence survivors for livelihood support, provide access to psychosocial services for victims of GBV and other abuse, legal actions against gender-based violence perpetrators intensified. By the end of the project, Bihaph expects to be able to reach 100 women and girls victims of sexual gender-based violence and give them access to services which are provided with timely, coordinated and comprehensive care management and medical response.
For marking, you don't do
Then now, you give me close, say, make, start marking, around between the two. And me, I didn't mark.
Amatenya Asia, sing along a boo boo neck. Amatenya Asia, sing along a boo boo neck. Amatenya better, sing along a boo boo neck. Amatenya better, sing along a boo boo neck. Amatenya Asia, sing along a boo boo neck. Amatenya better, sing along a boo boo neck. Bangwan tiga mega was a bunyo taikwe. Bangwan tiga mega was a bun. Bangwan tiga mega was a bunyo taikwe.
Very grateful that I came as usual on this Friday to check the workshops, how the trainees and the trainers they are doing. And I was very happy in front of this table workshop and all the other workshops that what they have been really been picking up very well. And then I've cross-checked their registers to ensure that their punctuality is good the attendance is also good, and then their comportment, the level of respecting their mistresses is also good, and the reports that I can carry back to this week and report to the organization is that it was a fruitful week for the trainees and the trainers as well.
We are very happy for the project because the project has changed many things in our division.
If we want to go numerically, this project has touched more than 8,000 people in these 3 communities.
And me at the time and time I mean where you don't get experience for help we where we not get more experience. So time gonna plenty for thing way una don't give me make plan future for day. My name na Tanjanet sir.
Decide say we talk about yawo, then we don't check and say make no day now. And say I dey put na my oil, red oil for the cell and
many they don't get that very minor I get them for say and say they will send their gay picking even presently, and for there I thank Bihaph in partnership with Unhcr for their good work where they do am.
no, I really thank you. Thank no be saying that only for my mom. Now both know the way we go thank you because you don't see myself and help me with that. I really thank you.
In the course of the implementation of the project, the following challenges, as explained by Bihaph's field staff, was experienced.
So they have been trying their best, except for the 2 weeks lockdown that was imposed. For that, I cannot blame them too because the project also stipulates that your safety first, your security first. So it was not in my place to start imposing that they must come to work on the lockdown week.
The fact that we are operating in a very difficult moment with an armed conflict going on in these disadvantaged and enclaved communities, we faced a lot of challenges. First, the people were very scared of our presence. They did not want to believe us because of the presence of the non-state armed groups and the security forces. We had threats from both camps, and the insecurities were very, very devastating to the team getting into this community. And given the fact that we are working in zones where they have no network, road infrastructure is very, very poor to get to these communities. It's not a bed of roses. Sometimes we take days to get to one community to do sensitization because of the bad roads. So it was not easy for the team to travel. And poor network, no electricity, it was very, very difficult to get this project through to these communities. Our gain in this project was that we actually make the people to understand that this was their project and they should be the one to tell us how to go about. And so when the people believed that this was their project, we now had access to go about this project. And also we had community mobilizers who are not coming from elsewhere, but they are residents in the communities. They know all the corners of the communities. These were like the aiders. These were like the movers in this project because they took us anywhere we want to go. They were the ones that mobilized the leaders.
I will just give a very brief introduction where the rest of the speakers, the way they will talk about gender-based violence, they will break down to the different aspects the way gender-based violence happens inside with society.
And before this project was carried out, we actually did a training on the community mobilizer for them to have a knowledge and skills on gender-based violence. So them going back to the communities and the communities knowing these community mobilizers was actually the gateway for us to achieve and succeed.
This is to certify that the holder of these certificates has successfully undergone a 2-day training on human rights approach in the fight against GBV and C in the community, psychosocial first aid.
We say welcome to all of you.
And towards the end of this project, we realized that the community had embraced this project. The community had accepted this project. It was like their own, so they felt an ownership. So we are certain that this project will definitely continue. The traditional leaders in Whom Central, in Bihaph, and in MENCHUM also committed that whatever recommendations and suggestions that we made, they were going to fully implement it.
And I too have the first for my personal self. And for that I be go learn self for big woman. At the cause of violence, I not fine. And second thing I be learning, we be get some notice say na early boy picking they get for go school. We go for senior boy picking they very far. Now for that I be go no say picking they get equal right. I want that Bihaph and Unhcr for their good work where they don't put that into community, because at least from this time it don't change my community and my household first. I first appreciate myself because I don't change myself with my household, with my own family around me, with the community where I guide them.
The local dialogue structure, as an administrator, as I promise you people that it's a very wonderful, very good structure, very good initiative. I promise you people that we are going to work with the administration closely to see that we fight against this gender-based violence.
And so we are so satisfied, we are so grateful that the community has embraced this project, and we have also realized that the young girls and young women who were enrolled, 100 of them, into the economic empowerment scheme have been doing so well. That notwithstanding, we also feel that the scope of this project was quite limited to these 3 areas, and we feel that this project can be extended, can be replicated to other areas in MENCHUM division, and also it's also possible that with our experience we can also move to other parts of the Northwest, Boyo division, because gender-based violence is not an issue of one location, it's a global issue, and so we can only go one step at a time. From MENCHUM division, we can move to Boyo division, to MENCHUM division, to Koketunja division, to Momo division, to Donga Mantung, and all other areas.
Irrespective of the challenges, a good number of success stories projected the project's attainment of goals. Of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, 4 of the goals are greatly implicated in this project. By empowering women and girls in economic activities, this effectively provides decent work and economic growth, leaving no room for poverty. This further ensures the peace and justice for a strong institution, especially as gender equality is ensured.
Activity that we did in the project that we think is very, very sustainable was training community leaders in the dialogue structure, local dialogue structure. In each of these communities, we have 20 members of the local dialogue structure.
The local dialogue structure has come to empower us, to give us more ideas, more confidence in handling affairs, especially marital issues, gender-based violence issues.
I say we'll be very happy because some of we not really know what to do in the community. So now, as when I come, when I don't open our eyes, and we'll be ready now for going to the community and for educate people them.
Again, as the sponsor, some of our survivors now we feel very happy as the project goes on. During the start of the school year of this year, based on the past time of the sensitization and education on gender-based violence and deprivation from ownership, I have a testimony of one chief that decided to buy the school needs of his female child before the men. I'm very grateful with what the organization has done here in Bihaph community.
Be very grateful because I not be know, say I will ever can know for pardon machine, but I feel pardon machine now.
So this local dialogue structure people coming from the communities and representing all the different sectors will be the ones now to continue the mobilization, the sensitization, the identifying the victims, and actually using a community-based approach.
Considering the present dispensation, that is, we are in a crisis period. Gender-based violence is rampant, especially in Northwest and Southwest, and now that you people are here in Womb, I'm very sure, I'm very convinced that some of their mindsets have changed.
All these successes and achievements we have been able to go this far, it stands to UNHCR, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees.
Only the one,